Welcome to the bold analysis, ladies and gentlemen. President William Ruto toured or did an impromptu rally in Nairobi County to launch another another housing project that has been touted as an affordable housing project. And in this podcast, we are going to demonstrate to you how hostile Nairobi is, and the president is finding it increasingly difficult to address non-organized and paid crowds in the city. Before we do that, we are still reminding you that we are in the last lap of finishing our Shinyalu project here. Our project is this Shosh, Deborah. Deborah is 74-year-old granny who alikuwa na epilepsy. So one day she fell kwa moto and suffered burns, and because of financial challenges she has not gotten a proper medical care. So when this was raised to us, we rushed to Shinyalu, and I dispatched my team who confirmed, and they confirmed, the ladies confirmed.
Hey. Hapata ni uchungu.
Anaumia. Toi mkono hii kwanza. Toi mkono.
Inauma na ndani, ama inauma na ndani. Hii mkono before ulikuwa unabeba tu mzuri.
Alikuwa anakaa kama chomeka.
Alikuwa tu sawa lakini sasa hivi huwezi.
That the wounds were still fresh and needed an urgent care. So we took her to the hospital, and as we talked to you, she's currently in the hospital and was admitted at one of the local facilities here, where she's undergoing a treatment for the next 5 days. She's supposed to undergo a plastic surgery and other procedures. And tomorrow we are going to pursue how she can be put on medication to address the epilepsy, because if that is not also taken care of, if that occurs, it can still put her life to danger. And that is what we are going to take care of tomorrow. We also said that she had a problem in nyumba. Apart from all this, this was her house, and the house was not in a good condition. So we've been here, and the house was swept away by the roof was swept away. So we were putting up a new house structure for him, and as of today, this is where we've reached. Tomorrow, the fundis are supposed to do mabati, the boma, which is kweka mchanga, and also do the windows and the doors tomorrow. That is a bit of what is pending, and so that is the pending that we are looking for, and the part of the medication for her. We will also ensure that before we leave, full NHIF, full SHA is paid for her to take care of everything. Our deficit so far is around 66,000, so that we can be able to finish this final lap. It has been demanding a lot, because even the last son, her last-born son, who was supposed to take care of her, also got involved in an accident and is currently actually is here walking with clutches. So it was a project that demanded a lot, and I still reach out kidogo kidogo hujaza kibaba. And I have some very good news from Kakamega today. Yes, when the county government learned of our presence, that we were doing something here, we're doing this project, I want to take this opportunity to thank the governor of Kakamega County, Fernandez Baraza, His Excellency Fernandez Baraza, for recognizing and supporting this initiative. And immediately they understood that, he directed the director of County Youth Service and Women Empowerment Program, Mr. Luke Otipo, to ensure that, number one, that we pick someone, the foundation picks someone from the family, one caregiver from the family, who is going to be employed by the county government through their program, so that they can be of support to the church. Number two, They're also enrolling her into vulnerable and widows programs so that she can benefit moving forward, looking at sustainability. And this includes giving her blanket, mattresses, and some food stuff. And she's also included in the Widows Support Program under the compassionate leadership of His Excellency Professor Janet Kasili Baraza, the First Lady of Kakamega County. And we deeply appreciate this support and partnership that through this channel we raised her plight, and even the county came in a way. We are going to do our bit. We'll make sure she's treated. We'll make sure we complete the house, and that's why we're working that deficit. But then the county is also going to employ one person from her family. And this is a very good gesture to us, and we want to say thank you very much for the county government of Kakamega. Yes, we've been moving around, and I think this is a plus and a very positive note for this podcast, that we have really made an impact in this community. And that is the tenet of the bold. So kindly, let's support so that we can finish up what is the other part that is remaining, and we believe that it will go a long way in supporting the whole team. This was a middle-class handover of houses, and I paid attention to how all this was going to happen. And this is what the president shared in their social media page. We will reserve 20% of our housing units under the Affordable Housing Program for members of Kenya Defence Forces, the National Police Service, and the National Youth Service, and the Kenya Prison Service. These disciplined officers will benefit from single-digit interest rate credit facilities as low as 3% a year to grow the number of homeowners. In industrial area, Nairobi County, for the opening of Central Bank of Kenya Police Housing Complex, comprising 200, blah, blah, and all that. So this was a launch that was done in Nairobi. I was paying attention to this because contrary to the affordable housing units launched in Kibera, the script in Mukuru kwa Ruben, and the same one in Kisumu, Homa Bay, Makasembo in Kisumu, and the one in Homa Bay, Tom Mboya, this was the middle class one. And I made some observations, some curious observations I want us to look at before we see how the president could not address an impromptu rally in the city. Tents were erected there, inside there, as a few choir members are the ones that were invited for some corporate performance. And I have been complaining for quite some time that the middle class, who are key contributors of the housing levy, have been sidelined, and have been complaining about how they are being treated. Unlike Mukuru, Kibera, that was symbolized with the big keys, glamour, and laced with mobilized crowds and political theatrics, the president opted for a lean audience. Remember, this was a middle-class event. He opted for a lean audience, and I think if we can take this direction for the houses that are normally launched in other areas, for the other affordable houses, then it will be even less cheaper to conduct such. But I will demonstrate to you that the president's mission in Nairobi, even with the housing project, has been number one principle to get on how to campaign. The houses, as you can see, were actually equipped with having gym equipments. They were looking deserted, and ideally, I'm wondering, or I'm just asking why we did not see somewhere where someone has already occupied the house. This is the middle class. So we normally see in the slum structures, the ones in Mukuru and Kibera, we normally get some people to act there as owners, and how they're moving from the slum areas to go to join those houses. There is normally an attempt to try to choreograph and script all that. But today in the unindustrial area, not so much. In fact, if you look at this photo, this is the photo that were taken inside. All those are government officers. You cannot see family there, even a police family. I want to believe even if there are structures that are set aside for the police, then they stay there as a family. I don't know where we did not or rather you can see that when he was actually dealing with the middle class, there is no much of that glamour. But when you do it in Kibera, you struggle to convince the masses that the houses belong to them. Why is it that when you're dealing with the middle class houses, you are not struggling and you are not scripting all that to try to convince the people that someone is there? And again, the reason why you normally have those kind of nini is because you want to achieve an objective. Now, while these houses are reported complete, but the fact that they are there, and of course the president said that those are, trying to project that as an affordable housing project, but if you listen to this, I think I've listened to the partnership, an MOU between CBK and National Police Service, and I'm just curious, could this be the best way to go about it instead of raiding people's payslips?
This project was born of an innovative memorandum of understanding between the Central Bank of Kenya and the National Police Service. Under this arrangement, CBK leased 4.1 acres of land from the National Police Service for 60 years to build this housing complex. In return, CBK committed to constructing the National Police Leadership Academy in Ngong, Kajiado County, a facility I had the honor of commissioning in December 2022, and which is now fully operational, training senior police officers. We were informed this morning that that institution is now the premier training institution for commanders of our National Police Service, as we equip them with skills and knowledge on how to better manage the security situation in our country. These two initiatives serve as a compelling proof of the impact of strategic reciprocal partnerships across government institutions in delivering lasting national value. I have had occasion to have conversations with prisons as a department, with other institutions of government, with the county governments, as we look at how do we have land and space for us to do affordable housing. What this relationship between the police and CBK tells us is that it is possible for government.
Yes. So even as we say that, even as we say that the strategy of going for after people's payslips is normally to make sure that even areas where no one will go to invest, government can invest. But this look at those houses, they are in very good state and they are, it's a quality house. And just an MOU between CBK, which is a financial institution, and NPS, they've delivered it. Why don't we leverage on such partnerships or such MOUs so that you cannot, you stop burdening already overtaxed Kenyans for that? The police units did not have the publicity stance of ghost house owners. I don't know that there was no one to act as already an observer, or there is no house that has already been occupied. I'm a bit curious. Now, outside, when this event was going on, I wanted to look at this photo. Outside, there were the handful of people. Remember these houses are around industrial area. Industrial area has a very big population of low-income earners. So some few people were milling around the place just next to where the president was, and that was the small number. And we understand actually the police were on standby to disperse them. They were not allowed to get inside or neither even mill so that they can be addressed by the president. And that was all there. And I realized that instead of the president talking to middle class, remember when he was in Homa Bay, he mentioned about some loan facility, that those who are contributing can qualify for some loan facility to help them pay even other mortgages. but interestingly, he still delved on the real bottom-up economic transformation agenda, as he was actually talking about the housing.
I know there are so many people asking questions. Why their maid will now stay in 11th floor on a house that eventually belongs to them. You know, they find it difficult to configure why their watchman all of a sudden will be discussing mortgage just like them. You know? I mean, that's how we carry everybody and we leave nobody behind. Only that his mortgage will be 3,000, your mortgage may be 50,000, but you know it's a mortgage anyway. So, and we are all discussing the same thing. So really, that is the problem I have with some people. They are wondering why I have all of a sudden gotten the people who would not ordinarily be in that space to be in that space. But that is how we transform a nation.
And I think one of the factors on this project that policymakers and stakeholders and even the media must pay attention to is the conversation about it is caged about huge data, about number of people who are working there and the impact. I think I've listened to my friend Waziri Ali Swahome. He's a subscriber of this channel, and we are not apologetic. And of course, I've been mentioning about this. Curiously, I think if it is the treasury or probably private audit can be done so that we really analyze the job provision analysis of this project. Because this conversation we've had for long, and I think the government needs to beat the logic and explain, is it really true that these jobs have been created? And if these jobs have been created, what is the impact? Because our argument has been that after the projects are done, the jobs are also gone. The only person that remains at the site is probably the caretaker. So all the other people are left, are gone. For example, you've done one in Homa Bay. Immediately after that 1 year, you has made. And remember, as the houses nears completion, the number of workmanship there reduces. So the parameter of job creation is a big question that needs to be answered. And another factor that must be answered is a claim, and this was made by the president when he was meeting a section of company leaders, that the levy is not only being used to build houses, but also being used to build markets.
Go to any big town today in Kenya. Go to Mandera. Go to Garissa. Go to anywhere. The largest housing development is affordable housing, including in Kisumu and Kakamega and Bungoma and everywhere. And this is just 2 years. 2 years only. Tell me what's going to happen a few years from now. You know? And we are not only using that housing levy kujenga hiyo affordable housing. We are using it to build the markets. We have now 260 markets going on in Kenya. We have hostels that are about to begin now. So our young people in colleges will benefit. Our women and all the other market people will benefit. All these other people, including all of us, will benefit.
So curiously, people are asking about this. I think these are some questions that need to be addressed at this time. When the president left, he tried addressing a crowd, some small crowd around industrial area, and people walked out. I want you to watch this video twice.
Kwanza mimi nataka niseme asante sana kutukaribisha Kanayo. Unajua kwa nini? Na tumekuja hapa, sivyo? Ili makarao wetu wapate mahali ya kuishi, mahali mzuri. So, mbali na kupanga mambo ya manyumba ya wananchi wa Kenya, hata askari wetu polisi pia watapata manyumba, mahali wataishi, mahali kuna heshima, na mahali Kenya itasonga mbele, ndio waweze kutusaidia kwa maneno ya kulinda usalama wa Kenya na kulinda usalama wa wananchi wa Kenya na biashara zetu, ndio tuweze kuzalisha nchi ambayo inapiga hatua ya kwenda mbele. Wana wa Nairobi mjambo. Basi kwanza mimi nataka niseme asante sana kutukaribisha kwa leo. Ndio kaneni. Na tumekuja hapa, sio ili makao wetu wapate mahali ya kuishi, mahali mzuri. So mbali na kupanga mambo ya manyumba ya wananchi wa Kenya, hata askari wetu polisi pia watapata manyumba, mahali wataishi, mahali kuna heshima na mahali Kenya itasonga mbele, ndio waweze kutusaidia kwa maneno ya kulinda usalama wa Kenya na kulinda usalama wa wananchi wa Kenya na biashara zetu, ndio tuweze kuzalisha nchi ambayo inapiga hatua ya kwenda mbele.
Mambo ni ngumu. This is a testament that the political gigs in affordable housing, by making sure you have Raila, you mobilize the opposition politicians, is part of the strategy to mobilize and validate the program, because the head of state seem not to be getting national crowds without planned, mobilized and paid people. And Nairobi is very critical on this. The president is also avoiding unpaid crowds because the messaging is backfiring. I want to, if you analyze that video, you will realize that the head of state was talking on the other side, and the people that were actually around that car, around his convoy, were walking away from the place where he was talking, from the place where he was addressing the rally. And that can really show you that while you can brag about, I have Nairobi behind me, or I have Nairobi in my back, not so much, not all is well. Now, the project is targeting some feel-good effect. The feel-good effect for me is far-fetched, especially in the city of Nairobi, because the jobs created are temporary. And number two, it doesn't meet the market demand per se in terms of percentage. Why am I saying it? What am I saying? In the job sector, yes, I employ masonry, I employ, I don't know, plumber, I don't employ all these people. But are all of us in the construction industry? Yes, it sorts construction industry. How about the teachers that graduated in 2009 and are yet to be employed? Some teachers are already growing old, too old even to teach, and they have never been employed. Now, the construction is riddled with displacement and demolitions, especially in Nairobi, where most of those houses are being built in around slums. It is the slums that are being degraded, that are being phased out to build those ones. And they do demolitions, inhumane demolitions, with very paltry or rather compensation. The full good effect on hustlers in the house is ineffective. I've been saying, someone staying in Kibera who do not even have food to eat, even if you put him in that house and you give him 10th floor, if he doesn't have food there, you still don't achieve that feel-good effect. The issue of having a house is not ideal if there are the factors that if the fact that you're in 10th floor and you don't have fees for your child, do you have the peace? No. Unless I think the president is the only marketer of this project. This has been something I think need to market. Even these MPs, they don't talk about this affordable housing when they are attending events themselves. Even during the panels, they don't support, but when they're around the president, they will do praises. They will praise it. They will actually go and post in social media. But when they go to the ground, they don't market it. And so it's only when the president is available, and this is part of the challenge that is affecting it. Thank you.